the will, the lematos, of the flesh. Ude ek thelematos. Neither. Ude is neither from the will, andros. That's man, andros. Neither from the will of man, al ek theu. That's but. What's the next word? Ek. Out of or from, but from God. Ieneste son. That's a hard word to say. Ieneste son. How's it translated to King James? Were born or became to be? But we're born of God. Okay. So here's what he's saying. Not of the will of man, nor the will of flesh, but were born from God. Ko logos. Sarx. Ienita. And the word flesh, that's sarx, became. And the word became flesh. Ke eskinosin. Tabernacle. And the word tabernacled in is, can be translated among, in men, among us. Now look, the word here is in parentheses. Ke etherasamatha. Okay, it's hard to say, but let's try it again. Ke etherasamatha. Very good. Team doxon. And we beheld. Amatha is we. Ethera is to see, or we beheld. Team doxon. What do you think that word doxon means?
Glory.
The glory. And we beheld the glory of to is him. So we beheld his glory. Doxon. Os. Glory which monogenous. Notice how the agama is soft there. Not hard, not guttural. Mono is one, right? Genus is born or become. It's probably translated the only begotten.
That's right.
But literal translation would be the only one. Para, here it is from Petros, the Father. Okay, so it's got it in parentheses. And we, go back up here to Ke Etha Samatha, we beheld the glory, or his glory, glory which was from the only begotten, or the only one from the Father. Pleris. That means full. Full. Charitas. That's grace. Full grace and aletheos, and we'll have to add some words here. Full of grace and what? Truth, yeah. Eonis. That's John. Martyri. Testified. Pari. Concerning. Off to. Him. So John testified or witnessed concerning him. Ke kraxi. Lehon. And cried or exclaimed, saying, Legon is saying or said, Utos in. This is the one whom I spoke upon this one I spoke, O opizo mu. Coming after, the word opizo is after. You have to go to the next word, go past mu, erkomenos. This is the one I spoke, the one coming after me, mu. Improsystin, mu, the one before me, who became, or the one who became before me, ienin, oti, protos, mu, in, because, oti, because, protos, before me, in is was, before me was, ke ektu pelematos, and of the fullness, pleroma is the noun, and from or out of the fullness, pelematros, off to emis. Okay, and of the fullness of his. Pandas, Elovamin, and all of this fullness we receive. The word Elovamin is received. Pandas is all. So out of his fullness have all we received. And our ke hari. Look at the next word. It's a preposition. Anti. Haritas. Now the word harin and haritas look similar, don't they? And grace on top of grace. That's the translation. And grace on top of grace. Oti o nomos. Because the law, theomosios, through Moses, edothi was given. Edothi, the law through Moses was given. There's no but there. It's just haris ke alethia. It's, go ahead. Haris ke alethia. The grace and the truth. Thea is through. Isu Christu eyeneta. Come on, we can do better than that, class.
Isu and yeneto.
Okay. Isu Christu eyeneta. So here's what it says. The law was given through Moses. The grace and the truth through Jesus Christ. Okay. We'll stop there. That's a good place to stop. I'd like for you to practice. Are you practicing every day reading John chapter 1? If you're not, guys, you need to. You need to practice pronouncing those words. And you won't get them all right. Sometimes I mess up also.
Ienitu, that means became.
Ienita, it means to come to be, to sometimes to be before. If you got enopion after that, came to be means, ienita. Now I want to pass out some papers here that lists a spatial representation of prepositions. But what I'd like for you to do, will you listen just a moment to me? I just want you to turn the papers over. I don't want you to look at them right now. Because I want to talk to you about, I want to teach you about prepositions. Okay? So the papers are yours. And I think you'll enjoy these. You can work with them. Pastor Jody, oh, thank you. Let me get just one of them. Pastor Jody was good enough to run these off for us. It's the spatial representations of the prepositions. And we'll deal with them in just a moment. We'll talk about them.
Extra. Hi, Pastor. How you doing?
I'm fine. How are you? I want my hug. That's why I came back here. There you go. Thank you, ma'am. Now, prepositions are like the key to a switch in any car or vehicle. If you don't learn them, you're not going to go very far. Let me just put it like that. So that you are going to find them indispensable to your study of the Greek New Testament. I want to share with you, and if you want to take notes, you can. If you don't, you can listen as you go back over them from the CD or online. But prepositions are called prepositions because normally in their use they are placed before the noun. Preposition are prepositions. So number one thing I want you to know is they're placed normally before the noun. You ought to write it down or make a mental note of it. They're placed before the noun. The preposition is the chief device for representing case distinctions. The preposition is the chief device for representing case distinctions. In other words, they'll help you to understand what case that noun or word is in, and that's very important when you're doing your own translating, or if you don't do translating, if you do any interpretation at all, you're going to find that these are indispensable again.
Repeat that again, sir. It's the chief device what?
The preposition is the chief device for representing case, C-A-S-E, case distinctions. Like what case, nominative case, and so on, the different cases. Your preposition is going to help you to know that. Okay. Prepositions mark the direction. Prepositions mark the direction and relative position of the action. Prepositions mark the direction and relative position of the action, motion, or state expressed by the verb. I'll read it again. Prepositions mark the direction and relative position of the action, motion, or state expressed by the verb. When I was in school, they taught us that the verb expresses action or state of being. So, prepositions mark the direction and relative position of the action, motion, or state expressed by the verb. So, prepositions then attend upon verbs to help them express more specifically their relation to substantives. I'll say it again so you can get it. Prepositions then attend upon verbs to help them express more specifically their relation to substantives, that is, the subjects normally. Prepositions then attend upon verbs to help them express more specifically their relation to substantives.
What's the last word?
Substantives, that's like the subjects. Yeah. Nearly every preposition may be prefixed to a word. Nearly every preposition may be prefixed to a word. Nearly every preposition may be prefixed to a word, and thus, get this please, and thus add a new idea to the word. Nearly every preposition may be prefixed to a word, and thus add a new idea to the word. They may modify it or even intensify the meaning of that word. They may modify it or even add to the intensity of that word. I want to show you an example. Give you an example. Here's the word gnosis. That word gnosis, that's gamma, mi, omega, sigma, iota, sigma. Gnosis. That word means to know. And it's used many, many times in the New Testament. Especially is that word used in the book of Colossians. Because in the book of Colossians, there is a group of people that have introduced a cultic doctrine to the Colossian church. They're known as Gnostics. And I won't take the time to teach you what a Gnostic believed. But the word for Gnostic is the basic word gnosis. It means to know. I'm going to get another. Can you see that back there, guys?
Yes.
Okay. Means to know. But look what a preposition does to that word. When you put the preposition epi to this word, you have epignosis, which means, look what it does to it, full knowledge. And Paul uses that to say to the Colossian church that in Christ, we don't only have knowledge, we have full knowledge. Boy, he destroys the Gnostic cult with these two words right here. Gnosis and epignosis. The preposition epi intensifies and actually changes, in a sense, that word gnosis. Do you see it there? So prepositions can intensify the meaning of a word, can change the action or direction of the word, and they're, again, almost indispensable when you're studying the New Testament. That's why I'm taking so much of this class time to introduce you and encourage you to study prepositions. Kenosis, to know. Epignosis, full knowledge. To have full knowledge. Now, you don't have to write this down, but just listen. Grammarians term this the perfective use of the preposition. One can detect shades of meaning from this usage that are otherwise impossible to discern and are often not brought over in any translation. Do you have a copy of the King James Version with you tonight?
Yes.
If you do, would you turn to Colossians chapter 1 and verse 9, and would someone read that verse out loud? Grammarians term this use the perfective use of the preposition, and one can detect shades of meaning from this usage of the preposition that otherwise is impossible to discern and are often not brought over in any translation. What does Colossians chapter 1 say? What does the translators, how do they use that?
For this reason, we also, since the day we heard it, do not cease to pray for you, and to ask that you may be filled with the knowledge of His will and all wisdom and spiritual understanding.
I want you to be honest, and of course you will be tonight. How many, just reading that verse, like our sister read, would have known that actually Paul was saying not just to know his will, but to have full knowledge of his will? How many would have known that just by reading the King James Version? You see, there are latent meanings in the words, the Greek words, especially when you add a preposition that's not brought over into translations. Wonderful shades of meaning that you can dig out, that you can understand, that no other expositor, Bible preacher, I don't care how long he's been preaching or teaching, will ever see if he's left alone with a translation and can't look at the Greek text and know what the Greek text says. Isn't that marvelous?
Oh, yeah.
That's just an example, my beloved. And so there are going to be shades of meaning that the prepositions will give to you that'll allow you to preach and teach with authority and understanding that the average preacher and expositor will never have. Colossians 1:9. Some prepositions, listen please, some prepositions are used with only one case. I'm going to give them to you. Some prepositions are used with only one case. Here are the ones used with only one case. Now, it can be different cases depending on the preposition, but they're used with only one case. Number one, the word or the preposition ana, A-N-A, to translate or transliterate. A-N-A. Ana. The next one is anti. A-N-T-I. We would say anti, but the Greek is anti. A-N-T-I. The third one is apo. A-P-O. Apo. Fourth one is ek. E-K. Ek. And the fifth one is eis. E-I-S. Transliterated. E-I-S. Eis. These five are used with only one case. That may not be the same case, but only one.
East.
There are other prepositions used with 2 cases, and some used with 3 or more cases. But these prepositions I just gave you are only used with 1 case. Did someone have a question or remark? Okay. Now then, look at your chart that I gave you. And you'll see that to illustrate what a preposition means, there's a big old circle drawn here. And the prepositions are listed, for example, look at, right after it says spatial representation of prepositions, look at the word iper. You see it there, right afterwards. Iper plus a, above, plus G in behalf of. You see, iper is above the circle. So the reason he puts iper up at the top, because that's what the word means. It means above. Now we're using the circle as a point of reference, you see. Okay? Now look at right in the middle of that circle. See the preposition dia? What does that arrow represent to you? Through, yeah. So everything's going to be illustrated in its relationship to that circle using prepositions. Okay? Now let me just go over them briefly with you, and then I want to give you the benefit of some other prepositions and probably a better definition, or I should say more definition than this circle gives you about prepositions. That's how important I think they are. All right, look at the top of your page again. Iper, and with the accusative means above. Iper with the genitive can mean in behalf of. Now look right below it, the preposition epi with the genesis means upon. See how it's the line setting right on the circle. So it means upon. Look to your left. There's the word pros. And the preposition pros means towards. Look to your right. The preposition apo means away, or actually away from, or from. We'll see that in a few moments. Then look again to your left. The preposition pari, and it means around. So it's sitting on the round part of the circle. Pari means around. We've already looked at dia, which means through. Look at the bottom left, the Greek word, a preposition, eis. Look at your arrow. Eis means basically into, because it's pointing into the circle. See that? Okay. So eis means most of the time into. Look at the bottom of the circle. Epo. Epo means basically under. If you come up to the right, there's the preposition para. Look at the line. Where's the line going? Beside the circle, right? So the word para can mean from or beside, alongside of. For example, how many times have you heard me say the word parakletos? The word parakletos is the word translated comforter. He's the one called along this